Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in another video today, and today we have some news from Rockets Wire, Newswire, and we're going to be talking about Eric Gordon potentially returning to the Houston Rockets. Rockets are reportedly interested in signing two-way veteran in free agency, and there are 4 players that have been named as potential signings for the Houston Rockets. Head coach Ime Udoka previously identified shooting and defensive versatility as among the team needs this offseason, which I think any Rockets fan would agree with that. That's why I'd love to see the Rockets draft Reed Shepherd in this third overall pick, just because the fact that he's a great defender and he's a great three-point shooter. This is someone who shot over 50% from three as a freshman and also averaged almost 3 steals per game. That's a big reason why I'd love to see Reed Shepherd on this team, because those are 2 big team needs: defense and shooting, and he provides both. But there are 2 players who have been mentioned to potentially, or sorry, not 2, 4 players have potentially been named as signings for the Rockets this offseason, and we're going to go over those options. So, the 4 guys that have been named: Alec Burks, who played for the Pistons and the Knicks this past season. He averaged 10.4 points per game and 18.4 minutes per game and shot 37.6% from 3. You have Talen Horton-Tucker, who averaged 10.1 points per game, 4 assists per game, and 19 minutes per game, shooting 33% from 3. Sadiq Bey from the Atlanta Hawks, who averaged 14 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 32 minutes per game, and 32% from 3. Also want to make a keynote. In March or February, he tore his ACL, so he won't be able to come back until November or December. So if the Rockets sign him, he's going to be out for the first month or 2 of the season. And then the final one is a beloved former Houston Rocket, Eric Gordon from the Phoenix Suns. 11 points per game, 2 assists per game, 28 minutes per game, and more importantly, which I think all Rockets fans miss this from EG, 37.8% from 3. Eric Gordon is a great three-point shooter and not even a bad defender either. And I think the Rockets would love to add in his three-point shooting again. And I think another thing is, he's a guy who's going to come in, he's going to make an impact, he's going to average over double digits off the bench for the Rockets. Obviously, he's not going to be the 6th man of the year Eric Gordon that the Rockets had in 2016-17 season, or the 6th man candidate in 2017-18 season who was a big part of the Rockets' postseason run, or the starter for the Rockets in 2018-19 or 2019-20, or the other years that he was a starter. Because EG is a little bit older now, and he's been gone from the Rockets for a season and a half, was traded away from the Rockets midway through the 22-23 season, spent the second half of the season with the Clippers, and then this past season with the Suns. So it's been a season and a half. But Eric Gordon is, I believe, has changed a little bit since the Rockets last saw him. When the Rockets had Eric Gordon, when the Rockets had Eric Gordon, as the years went by, Eric really kind of started to struggle with his three-point shooting. It really kind of, his percentage went down, and he was not shooting as well as from 3 as he should be, as we know him to be. It was not the three-point shooting Eric Gordon we all know. But ever since the Rockets traded him, he has really got his shot together. Shot like 40% with the Clippers after the Rockets traded him to LA, and shot almost 38% this past season with the Suns. So his last season or 2, I know that 21-22 season was a really brutal year shooting the ball for him. I think the 2022-23 season with the Rockets, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. Wasn't as good as it was this year for him. So his three-point shooting would definitely be a big addition for this Rockets team. And just the veteran being back. I mean, obviously, there are other veterans the Rockets added in to replace Eric Gordon's void, like adding in Jeff Green, Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks. But EG is a guy that most of these rookies, outside of all these young guys, outside of, I forget they're not rookies anymore. They're still so young. Outside of guys like Amin Thompson and Kem Whitmore who missed the Eric Gordon timeline, all these young guys like Şengün and Jalen Green and Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, that are still on this team, played with Eric Gordon. He was their mentor to start off. And honestly, I feel like Eric Gordon returning. I think this is a great comparison as well. I feel like Eric Gordon would returning to Houston would kind of be like Al Horford reunion. I loved watching Al Horford win an NBA championship. This is a guy who's 39 years old and has been in the NBA for 17 seasons, something like that, and has never won an NBA championship. He spent a season or two away from the Boston Celtics. He joined them in the 2016-17 season, and then he gets traded to the Thunder after the 2021 season and spends a season or two away from them. He went to the Thunder, he went to the 76ers, until the Celtics were finally traded back for him and brought him back. And since then, they've made 2 NBA Finals. They've won one. He's a big part of their team. Not just how great of a player he is, but he's the veteran leader. He's the old guy in the locker room. And I feel like that's what Eric Gordon kind of is. I mean, these young guys, Eric Gordon's never won an NBA championship. Obviously, I think the Rockets are kind of far away from an NBA championship. And Eric Gordon has a couple years left, but if the Rockets could win an NBA championship for Eric Gordon, that would remind me a lot like Al Horford. As much as I think Eric Gordon liked playing in Phoenix, enjoyed playing with the Clippers, as much as it could suck to lose like he was before with the Rockets, I don't think he really wanted to leave Houston. I mean, obviously he wanted to win, which is probably the only reason why he wanted to leave Houston. Or like he kind of, I think he said he was kind of 50-50 on it. I mean, he didn't want to leave, but I mean, he wants to win. But now that the Rockets are a better team, I couldn't see a perfect time to bring him back. I mean, I'd love it. The other guys on the list, I mean, them too, these guys would be great additions. Alec Burks and Taylor Horton-Tucker, I would not mind it out. Now, Saddiq Bey, I mean, out of these 4 guys, Saddiq Bey is the worst three-point shooter out of all of them. Great rebounder, he'd be a great addition, but and he's going to miss the first season. He's going to miss the first month or two of the season. I wouldn't mind Saddiq Bey, but I feel like he's going to ask for a lot of money because he did have a great season before, but I don't know. I'd rather, because I think Eric Gordon and Alec Burks are cheaper options. I'd love to see Taylor Horton-Tucker. I think he's a really nice young player with solid promise. So I'd rather those 3 guys potentially than Saddiq Bey. I mean, I don't mind either 4 of these guys on the list, but if I had to pick, I'd say I'd rather have Eric Gordon and Taylor Horton-Tucker on this team if the Rockets are going to sign or one of these guys that was on this list. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out. Go Rockets.